Hey everybody, welcome to Harmon Garage. I'm Aaron, and as you saw in the clips right before this, I took a week off, and in that week I got caught up on stuff that I needed to get caught up on. I needed to get the Willys motor done so we can move on with that, and I didn't want to go through regasketing and repainting another motor because we'd just done it. So I took 2-3 days, hammered that project out. It's sitting right here, all cleaned up, gasketed, painted, back together, and it's ready to go back in the Willys when we get the Willys back ready to put it in. And you saw I got wheels and tires on the 61 Apache. Now it rolls so I can move it around. And what else did I do? I did a bunch of stuff. I don't remember what I filmed clips on and what I didn't, but we got it. So anyways, that's what happened. That's why there was no video last week. I just needed to get caught up on some stuff and get some stuff done, and I kind of needed a little break. I know that's not your guys' fault, but I've been pushing myself really hard and I just needed to catch up. So anyways, this video, I'm gonna switch over to the intro that I already filmed for this when I forgot to tell you guys everything that I just told you. So here we go. And we're back on patches, taking all the stuff off of the long bed C10, putting it on the short bed frame, and getting it all put back together. Last video you saw, we got the motor cleaned up and ready to go, and we pulled the dent out in the fender. There's two more dents, or two more spots of bodywork that I wanted to address on this truck before we took it all apart. One of them, right here. I started working on it. I got it kind of pulled back out, but the two layers of the fender, the inner and outer layer, the spot weld is broke, so when I slide hammer it, it's only pulling the outside out. So I'm gonna have to see what I can do with that after I take the fender off, but I do have it closer to where it's supposed to be than it was. The other spot, it had a ding in the back of the cab right here, and it was just a little tiny spot about like that. Well, I started grinding on it to get some bare metal so I could pull on it, and we've got 1/4 of an inch of Bondo all over here. So I'm gonna try to get this little area right here bare, put some studs on it, bump it out, tap that corner back in, and kind of get it pulled. I'm not putting filler on any of the stuff that I'm pulling out. That can be down the road. Somebody else is painting the truck, so that can be down the road. I'm just trying to get some of the metal work close to where it's supposed to be, so when I put the truck all back together, the alignment on all the panels and everything is good. And I want to try to fix that, because if they don't pull the bed to do the body work, they're not going to be able to get that right. So I'm trying to get it right to help them out. So I'm going to go dink with it a little bit more. I'll take you guys over there, show you what it looks like, and then we're going to get into tearing this thing apart. All right, I ground and I ground and I ground a little bit more, and then I ground some more. Finally got to the bottom of all that filler, and I'm highly disappointed in whoever did it. But before we get into that, everybody's favorite helper's back in town.
Hi guys.
So we got Pops, and you see that? Can almost fit my finger through there. That was all smooth when I started grinding. So everywhere you can see daylight was all filled up with filler. Don't do that. Take the time, work the metal, skim coat it, paint it. So once again, I'm just trying to get it close to straight. I want this truck to end up as good as it possibly could, and if I wouldn't have noticed that and wouldn't have done that, it might have got overlooked later on. So I'm gonna weld a couple studs on there, pull on that a little bit, see how close we can get it, and we'll stick the straight edge on it again and show you guys how much better it does or doesn't look. Okay, I did a little bit of pulling work on it. I did a little bit of tapping work on it. Pop said I should tell you guys that this is the difference that 15 minutes can make. So we got our straight edge back in the same spot. You barely see any light through there. Move it back over here. Barely see any light through there. And there was holes where they had pulled before. And once I got to cleaning up, they just fell out. I welded it back up. So that's way better. You might be able to finish that out with some high fill primer, but if I were doing it, I'd go ahead and put just like a glazing putty on there, because it's, I mean, that's really nothing. Real thin coat of glazing putty, some high fill primer, that'll be brand new. And we took every bit of a 1/4 inch, if not a 1/2 inch of Bondo out of that. And like Pops told me to say, literally, I spent probably 15 minutes on it, and that's pulling it, straightening it, cutting all the studs back off, grinding them down, and sanding it with a DA to smooth it all out. So
10 minutes of taking the Bondo off.
yeah, and 10 minutes to grind all the Bondo out of it. So it don't take that much extra work, guys, and I'm not a professional. Nobody's ever taught me how to do any of this stuff. I just pick it up as I go along. But if you see a piece of metal that's low, it needs to come back out. If you see a piece of metal that's high, it needs to go back in. And then you get it close. And once you get it close, then you give it to somebody else that likes to do Bondo work and they're good at it, because that's not me and I don't want to do it. So anyways, now I got that corner fixed. I got that front fender pulled as far as we're going with it for now. We'll go ahead and start tearing this front clip off of this truck. Okay, we're going ahead and stripping this front end off of here so we can get back to the cab. Obviously, we're going to pull the cab. And so we're just taking the fenders off. Pops already went through and took out all the bolts that hold the inner fender to the fender. I already got the one that's up underneath here on the core support. There's 2 here, one came right out, the other one didn't, so we'll have to deal with that. Now we got all the ones here on the inside of the core support, and then we'll got the 3 big ones in the back. We'll get them out and get it off. Trying to leave as much stuff on here as I can so that I don't have to take it all off and then switch it all back over. But like, I gotta take this washer bottle off because it plugs in on the back side of it, so we'll do what we gotta do. Find that later. Or Pops will find it right now. Whatever. Okay. I think it should be everything except for I gotta figure out how to get that one cut up here. Then take the 3 bolts loose in the back. But I don't want to take them loose until I get this off, so I guess let me figure out how I'm going to get to that, and then we'll continue with this. Alright, I got that loose now, finally. So, just got the 3 bolts back here. Should be ready to come off. Okay, now we gotta move on to the inner fender, get it out of the way. Couple bolts back here in the back, 3 on the bottom of the core support up front. Accidentally stepped on the cutoff wheel and it unhooked the air hose from it. Okay, we're going to go over and get the passenger side fender off, and then get this off, the lower balance piece off, or bumper filler, or whatever you want to call it. get it off, get the other fender and inner fender off, and we'll start getting ready to jerk this cab off of here. Okay, we got both front fenders, both inner fenders off. Pretty much everything, for the most part, that needs to come off the cab is off. There's more stuff that I want to strip to clean it up and paint it, but we can do that when it's off the truck and we're not trying to stand on tires and everything else to get to it. It'll be a lot easier, set it on the ground and, you know, put some blocks under it to hold it up off the ground a little bit, and can strip it all down and clean it up and paint it and whatever we want to do. So like I said, pretty much got everything unhooked. Now we need to, we're gonna move it. We're gonna take it off, bring it around and face it in here, because that way we have all this room next to it to pick the cab up and slide it off of there. And for those of you that may be interested and don't know, this is your front cab mount. There's one in the same spot on the other side. And then right here and right there are your rear cab mounts. That's the only 4 mounts that hold this cab on. Now, you can do whatever you want. Don't listen to me if you don't want to. But do not crawl under there with an impact and try to bust those cab mounts off, because all you're gonna do, there's like a square nut with a stamped piece of metal that goes over the top of it. And when they've been in there for 40 years and they're all like boogered up and rusted and whatever else, and you go in there and shock that with an impact, it spins those nuts, stretches the stamp part that holds the nut in place out, and then you're screwed. Because at that point, all you can do is cut the head off, get the cab off, and then you got to cut holes in your cab floor to get into the nut side of the bolt to take that out and repair it however you so choose to. So I do it by hand, and at least until I get them loose and I know they're moving good. That cab mount there, the passenger side front, it broke off where the shank of the bolt meets the threads. So that was just me doing it by hand. It broke off, so the bolt snapped. So once we get this off, I'll probably tilt the cab up where we can get in there and see what's going on. And there's a 50% chance I'm gonna have to cut a hole in the floor, like I mentioned, to fix it. But I'm hoping we can do some bolt extraction and get that bolt out of there and then just put a new bolt in it. This cab, on the other hand, is a stubborn pain in the butt. Has been on everything all along. It didn't want to be reused. I cannot get any of those cab bolts to turn. I've tried it by hand. I've tried it with my big 1/2-inch impact, everything. So since that cab is junk, and just for everybody that hasn't seen yet, that's destroyed. That rocker's rusty. There's a bunch of dents in the roof. And that rocker is completely gone. Could it be rebuilt? Yes, but we don't need to rebuild it. So since it's junk pretty much, I'll take what's good off of it, and we're just gonna cut the heads off of the mounts and get it out of our way. So yeah, we're gonna get this truck moved around to where we need it. We'll get the cherry picker out here, and then we'll get her shit rigged up, and I'll show you how we take them off. Okay, I got this all rigged up. I just wanted to show you guys before we got started. But if you've watched me pull a cab before, you've seen me stick a 4x4 through the cab without the doors on. And we take the cherry picker and lift it up. Well, in the past, I've had that damage the roof of the cab. So this time I left the doors on for two reasons. One, it gives a little bit more support where the board is sitting so it doesn't damage anything. And two, if it damages something, it'll damage the doors, and I can always find other doors or use other doors. But this time we got U-bolts and put them in our board so that our attachment point is spaced away from the cab. So when this starts pulling up, rather than it sucking in, it's gonna pull up and away from the cab on both sides. And we got it all strapped up and tied off and hooked up to the cherry picker. So it worked fine before. It just every once in a while it'd kind of wrinkle some stuff up over here, but I think that's gonna prevent it. And if it does, I've got some other ideas to make my cab pulling mechanism even better in the future. So that's it. We're going to I got all the bolts loose, like I said. I just have to pop the back two out, which I'll just do real quick and easy, and we'll get this cab lifted off of here. Okay, we switched over to a chain because our strap had too much stretch, so we're gonna see if that helps any. We need to shorten that hook on it. For those that are gonna question about it, we did let the air out of the tires to get the truck down lower also. As far down as it'll go. Yeah. You don't have the screw tight enough, it's dropping back down. Like you jack it up when it goes down the same amount you jack it up. Thanks. Never mind, I got it. Those wires going to the back that I'd already cut, I got them out.
Want to get one of them boards put underneath so we can lift it up while we're pushing it?
I don't think we need to. I think I just need to put a little weight back here and pull. Okay, something else is stuck. And I obviously didn't see it. You see it?
I can hold this.
What do you need? What is
I
that?
think if you could pull now, then we can.
Did you see what was stuck?
Nothing stuck.
Right here, parking brake cables. Never gonna get off of that. Didn't think about that when I started pulling it.
What, the emergency brake cable?
Yeah.
Good now?
Yeah, it's just dragging over here. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Is that far enough?
Yeah,
I give you another foot.
just let it down really slowly, so we can take the weight off of it. It's not hanging.
Do I have to set on the cherry picker?
That's fine. I just don't want it hanging on it any more than.
Is that better?
Let a little bit more weight off. Okay, we got the cab off. We still need to refine our cab moving procedures, but we're gonna go ahead and air the tires back up on this frame now and get it out of our way. Okay, got the cab off, got it set up on some 4x4s, got the cherry picker off of it and out of the way. Now we can clean it all really good, get rid of stuff we're not gonna reuse, paint the firewall, so on and so forth. And then we'll get this frame ready and we'll get the motor and trans set in and all that, and then we'll put this cab on there, which will be very soon. Anyways, like I mentioned, I've tried everything under the sun to get these cab bolts loose by hand, with tools, whatever. So now we've graduated on to the flame wrench. I'm gonna go ahead and cut the heads off all 4 of them, and then we will kind of do the same gentle process of lifting that cab off that we did with the other one. So here we go. All right, well, I got the bolts all cut off of the cab on Shorty back here, or not Shorty, what am I thinking? Sparky. And we just got to get a couple things moved around so that we can get the cherry picker up over it to pick it up, and we'll lift it off of there. What? Whoa, 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 what the heck are you doing? Well, Pop took matters into his own hands, and I guess we didn't need the cherry picker to get the cab off. So what do? Good help's hard to find. All right. I'm sure you guys gathered the fact that that whole thing about my dad ripping the cab off of the frame was just a joke. We had it all set up and everything, and it was probably terrible. I'll see when I edit, because I'm not that good of an actor. But anyways, got this cab off. It's laying up here on the concrete. Like I said, there's a few things I need to do to it before it goes on the shortbed frame. Obviously, since we took the cab off, this is gonna need more cleaning, and we got the bed slid back and whatnot, and we still got a couple parts that I need to finish cleaning up and painting for the motor, and I gotta finish putting the motor back together so I can bolt it to the trans and we can stick it in the frame. I think I'm gonna put the motor and trans in the frame before I set the cab back on it, just because it's wide open and so much easier. So this is the last video that's gonna come out before the giveaway of Hot Shot is over. So if you haven't already and you're interested, go check it out. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there's a video on the channel. It's got a gray flatbed truck on the thumbnail. It says Hot Shot. We're giving that truck away. All the information on how you can win it is on that video. So if you haven't done it yet and you want to, go check it out. But other than that, I've got a whole bunch of work to do, and I can't get it done if I'm standing here talking to you guys. So this is about as far as we're gonna go with this video. We're gonna wrap it up. Pops is tired and wants to go home and rest. So thank you guys so much for watching. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be able to do this. Y'all have a good one. We'll see you next time.